Franchise has been a very new concept in India. Especially it has evolved in the last 3-4 years. Nobody actually know what a franchise means. And most of the franchisers here, the international one, obviously the national one has no systems which has been defined. International, there are systems, there are definitions, which when we take some franchisee, gets imposed on us, which is willingly or unwillingly. I have seen that multiple franchise option, which I am working or which other people are now working, is becoming more useful in an Indian scenario as compared to franchise of the one or the two brands. Reason are mainly 2-3. One of them, as Mr. Kohli has pointed out, is the spaces. In India, the real estate has been a very, very expensive proposition, and the size of the real estate versus the food business is also very important. Suppose you have a space and you have a franchise of 2-3 businesses, food businesses, I'll use the word. You can share out that space. You can use the real estate facility to that extent. You can share out your resources and reduce the cost of that resources in the form of the manpower also, including the equipment, including everything. I mean to say that in one business where the sales are divided in a separate restaurants, if the one space can be used and can be used more effectively by the same franchisee for the various brand, it becomes more profitable. Even in this country, the food cost is also plays a very, very important role. In a multiple brand, you have a good control on the supplies, you have a good control on the credit period, you have a good control with the mall people also. So all these factors help together and help you in improving the profitability part of it. Franchisee business or franchise as such is evolving in India. People are slowly understanding what a franchise means. People are understanding how the return on investment on the franchise comes, and what exactly is the meaning of the food versus a franchise. The most important part, the 5 factor which comes to the profitability of a franchise is the cost of the project, means cost of setting up the restaurant, food cost, wages cost, and the rental cost. If these 3-4 costs are under control, automatically the franchise business becomes successful. And out of these 4 costs, 3 costs can be easily controlled and shared if it is a multiple franchise concept. That's where we are working, and we feel ourselves more successful in that. In India, the basic problem here lies, if a person or a franchisee has a real estate of itself, it's a profitable venture straight away. I'm very clear about that. As everybody has been pointing out here, it's a too small a space, organized space at this moment. As you see in the food business itself in India, 15 to 17% is only organized, rest is not organized. That's why, most of the things which is getting organized are looking for organized space. The more organized space in India is really very expensive. And if anybody owns a space and want to run a restaurant business, it's yes, profitable. Because as a thumb rule formula, everybody feels around 15% of the sales should be the rental cost. But in India, especially in the A-class city, it is not less than 30%. And if we are running around a food cost of around 35%, which is standardized in India, leave aside the few brands, I'm talking about the mid-segment brand, which is 30 to 35%, and 20% as the wages cost, you leave with the no margins of the running your own space. So now how you get an ROI on that? Now the latest thing which has started with the good brands, like I take an example of mine also, we are taking spaces from the malls more on a revenue share. The malls are also coming, malls are also evolving, and malls are also agreeing to the idea of revenue share. We say that if we think your mall is doing well, if you think the footfall is high, then automatically I earn more. If I earn more, I'll pay the revenue share. So, but in that process, I will close or I will stop my losses immediately. So this concept is also evolving. In the last 2 years, I have myself done deals in my numerous brands which are purely revenue share deals. So that's a plus point which is happening in India, and there the franchisee is going to get benefit. But again the point is that in most of the malls in India, there are 2 things which run: entertainment and food. So sometimes the mall size is too big. You increase the food outlets or options so many that again your sales goes down, and you are the rigmarole of this thing. So there are a lot of factors which are going to work together. A is the real estate cost. B is your format. It's very, very important. Large size formats in India has never been successful. Never been successful. You mean to say per square feet realization of the space, which is a very, very, very important key factor in India. You can't price your product very high and expect the footfall to be high. If you price your product average, that means you are not controlling many of the things, like food cost is high, your wages is high, your rentals are X, but your footfall has to be high to earn profit. But
Yes.
if you have so many, if your space is too big, so in India, everybody says every week, every day is not a Saturday, Sunday. Weekdays footfall is poor. If you have large space, here the infrastructure costs are very high. Cost of the air conditioning, cost of the electricity, cost of the cleaning, everything is very expensive. So you have to work within that parameter, and a franchisee, while taking a franchise, has to understand this concept very, very, very clearly. This is finally going to kill if he doesn't understand that.